Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
Yeah.
All right. Should we get into this?
Let's do it.
All right. What's up, all you little fuck sticks out there in podcast land? Welcome back to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast with myself, Screaming E from the Memphis Murdermen, Oubliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb, and our homeboy, Mikey T from the Jukebox Romantics.
Gobble, gobble,
guys?
motherfuckers.
That's right. Yeah, speaking of the gobble gobble, we hope everyone had a good old turkey day, and we hope you got stuffed. And speaking of that, yeah, you know, we're going to talk about Eli Roth's new, throwback slasher, Thanksgiving. But before we get into the pleasantries and all of that, we're going to get into some
Horror news.
I was trying to be Jello. It didn't work.
horror news.
There you go.
There, it's perfect.
Right. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Everyone have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, totally.
Is that horror news?
That's not me. It was horrible news for me. Yeah.
For Mike, it was.
Yeah, three Thanksgivings.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm good. Oh my God. So I
have
have a bunch of horror news.
Okay.
I have some horror news. Since the last episode, kind of a big one came out. Did you guys see the Melissa Barrera is off of Scream? You guys saw that news?
That
I
was
did.
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Jenna Ortega thing I found out was that she was never really signed on for it.
Right.
She was scheduled to do Wednesday, I guess, the next season. But I think this whole Melissa Barrera thing kind of they're like, well, we might as well just, rip the whole Band-Aid off and, tell everybody that Jenna Ortega is not going to be there either. I think that's kind of tried to divert the news and attention away from Melissa Barrera.
Kind of made it
don't worry
worse.
about that because Jenna Ortega is
Mm-hmm.
not here either. So I don't know. I think that's kind of, for me, I feel like it's kind of it for the franchise for now. I'm sure. He's probably stoked.
I've told a whole bunch of people, I'm like, good. Like, let that fucking franchise die. I mean, it's not good that,
but you know what they did? They probably offered Nev Campbell all the money she wanted now.
Yeah,
And now
100%.
it's going to be a fucking now it's going to be a vanity movie for her. Like, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah,
Sydney
reaping
fucking Prescott.
the rewards of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. From what I read and saw, it didn't sound like Melissa Barrera really said anything that was like that crazy.
No, it's just what? How many years ago was it when? I guess it had to be when Trump was in office. Gina Carano was made some sort of statement that wasn't anything too crazy, and then everyone was like, "You're fired," and everyone was like, "Yeah." And it's
I think Gina Carano is definitely probably way worse.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hers was worse. Well, but it depends.
Yeah,
it depends.
Sure, it depends on who's looking at it.
On America's standard, what she said was worse.
Right.
And right now in the U.S., we're throwing around Palestine, Israel, everything like we know.
Right.
Totally.
Going on.
Everything about it when there's been genocide on both sides.
For
100%.
And I'm just like
thousands of years at this point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just stop killing people, whatever.
I think that's kind of where she went with whatever she said.
Right.
But if the movie studio,
it depends.
Yeah,
I didn't what side you're on though.
Right, totally. And so I think the fact that she was fired was the movie studio's choice to do that, and
right. Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is. Yeah,
they clearly are going to move on from it and make another movie, and because the franchise will make them money.
Right.
And so
right.
They don't. Do they really care in the end?
No.
If anything, like Oobs was saying, this is a way to get Nev Campbell back in the mix of it, and they could bring back other characters, and it.
Yeah,
I liked where it was going after 6. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought it was like kind of had a chance to focus on those core 4.
Same. I was excited. The problem is that if you live in the U.S. and with all the people who in power, you can't accuse Israel of genocide and ethnic cleansing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
And that's basically what she said. Even though there is historical data that would suggest things may be occurring.
Right. Yeah.
Totally.
But it's just a touchy
like I told
subject,
people.
and to take a stance like that, I don't know.
It's like,
yeah, especially in a public eye when you like represent a lot of people's money and stuff like that, and a lot of people's interests. You could see how anybody could make a reason and be like, well, yeah, maybe, you're bringing the wrong attention, good or bad,
Right. Well, like you said before.
Here's the problem. The big problem is that, to me, Israel doesn't mean all Jewish people.
Right.
But in the public eye, accusing Israel of genocide and ethnic cleansing, you're basically saying Jewish people are. So that's, I think, where they kind of had to be like, especially here living in the Northeast with like a big Jewish population.
Totally.
It's crazy. Like even when, the last few times I've been shopping on 2 different main streets in 2 different towns, one side of the street is like one side, one's the other. Protesters like fucking just yelling at each other.
It's crazy because doesn't everybody just want peace in the end? Like, isn't that the whole thing?
Right. And to like, I think, progress and move on from things, like.
Yeah.
What Israel did now, is that really representative of Jewish people in the U.S.? Like, I don't think they're the same thing.
Right,
so
right.
Well,
why are some people taking that fight on here when they've never been to Israel and would never do the bad things that people there have done?
Well, like I was telling people
but whatever.
about this. Yeah. I mean, it's whatever.
Let's all get angry.
Yeah. But it's like, all right, everyone's touchy about subjects, whichever side you're on. This is just certain people's time to be touchy. So just like with whoever gets fired, personally, I think you can, this podcast,
you're an actor, we're like, we're a horror podcast.
We're like, hey man, but we're like real big on free speech. Say whatever the fuck you want, do whatever.
Sure.
I think you should be able to say what you want outside of work, short of like, calling for violent threats or whatever it is. But on the other hand, it's like, hey, private company, they have a right to be like, you know what?
Right. They can fire her for whatever reason.
Right. So it's just like, now it's their turn, or not theirs in like any specific people, but just this time it's like, okay, we're going to fire this person for saying this thing we didn't like, even though it wasn't necessarily bad to like the objective person, like, oh, I see where she's coming from, but tensions are high now, so they're like, fuck you, so whatever, in the end I don't care.
But
like,
I don't either, but the unfortunate circumstances, she lost her job, and now there's like memes all over the internet of her with like a Hitler stash and saying she's anti-Semitic, and I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
Okay, guys, like you really need to stop jumping to that. Like,
didn't she do like I think she did like a movie about Frida, like the Mexican painter.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That was my news. I knew we were going to get into this conversation about, but I felt like it was important. I felt like it's important to the horror community.
Yeah, people are going to people.
For sure.
And like I don't really know how to be fair, knowing the horror community, I'm pretty sure everybody is just talking about the Scream franchise and not about the politics around it.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, oh my God,
we go to horror to
fucked
escape
up.
all that stuff. I mean, even though like a lot of horror movies will, like They Live or, any sort of zombie film that has like this undertone of political stuff in it. And like, if done really well, it's awesome. But I think in a movie like Scream, we're not going to scream for those kind of commentaries.
Yeah.
We're going to scream for like, people getting murdered and like slashed up.
That's the thing, man. I always try and tell people, I'm like, the pendulum always swings back the other way. Mm-hmm. What you're being all like, yeah, fuck that person for this time is eventually going to come back and get you in the ass. And they're going to be like, no, it's fucked up that it's happening to somebody I like or somebody or myself. And it's like, well, that's why you shouldn't be all fucking mob. Yeah, fucking burn that witch. I'm like, chill out, guys. But
Well, yeah, I think not only that, just everybody should realize like who they are and what they identify with. There's a really long history of
yes,
everything, and people fuck up
the
throughout
world.
history, and
Yeah.
you can't say that your shit don't stink, because I guarantee you, no matter what you identify with or love, your
Oh,
shit stinks sometimes.
yeah. Nobody's
It
hands are
stinks.
clean in this one.
So
Totally.
just keep being better and try to be better, or
Yeah.
not be worse, but at
Yeah.
least admit to it and
Just
stop fucking
own up
acting
to
like
it.
you're
Yeah.
better than everybody.
Exactly.
Well, now
You're
that I
not.
derailed the podcast and we've lost a bunch of people probably because of political talks, he just mentioned the
Nah, we're
witch
fine.
or witches or burning witches, which brings me to my next piece of horror news, which is that Robert Eggers, who directed The Witch and The Lighthouse and The Northman, is
Nosferatu.
yep. Nosferatu will be coming out on
Mhm.
Christmas Day, 2024.
It's
and
funny
that is
after you're done with
fucking
this. After you're done with
I
this,
will always say it
yeah.
wrong, by the way.
That's a perfect
Since I was a
segue.
little kid, I called it Nosferatu.
Well, it works, but yeah, dude,
It works.
your horror news links up perfectly with mine. But continue.
Oh no, that's all. My
Oh.
my news was that the movie's coming out at Christmas. And Willem Dafoe, Bill
Next year.
Skarsgård, next Christmas.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, Emma Corrin, and from the great HBO show The Idol, Lily Rose Depp is Nosferatu, and Skarsgård is playing Count Orlok and Nosferatu, which is pretty cool. I did a huge paper in high school about Nosferatu because I had a silent film class or something that I took, and
It's one of the best.
that was like right up my alley. But
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm a huge fan of The Witch. I thought The Lighthouse was a little too fart house for me. And
Had its moments.
yeah, I mean, great actors doing great things, but the story, I was like, whatever. And The Northman was sick. Like that was a
Ubzilla's
crazy
like,
ass movie.
no. She's like, the Northman, however, yes, give me some.
I like The
shirtless
Northman. I thought it was
Skarsgård.
great.
Hey, I love Skarsgård, and the Northman, I really liked at parts, but I got a little tired, just like in Valhalla Rising.
Right.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's just that hot Viking men with like ambient noise in the background put me to sleep, but like that's not a bad thing.
No,
Is that
It's
the
a
same
comforting
Skarsgård
thing.
who plays It, or no?
no, that's his brother.
No,
That's
it's the guy from
Alexander
True
Skarsgård.
Blood, Straw Dogs,
Infinity Pool.
lots of other
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Infinity Pool.
Okay, that's the Skarsgård I like. I
He's
like
the
that
elder
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård son.
Yeah.
The one that plays It, I'm not a huge
Mhm.
fan of, and I know he's
Me
playing
too.
Eric Draven in The Crow, and I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it.
No, that's who's doing Nosferatu. I can't say it. That's who's doing the fucking vampire.
Oh, he's playing Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Oh, not the one from Infinity Pool and The Northman.
No.
No.
God damn it!
Not the one who's 6'8", the one who's like 6'4".
Fine, I'll still go see it. I
And-
guess.
So I feel you on that. Bill was not really on my radar or one of my favorites. But recently he's hit the radar, and I think it's going to be good. I think he's coming into his own. He's in a good age.
Well, I think
Yeah.
he'll do this movie great.
Yeah, he will.
He did
I
It
think
great.
that
I just like the other one better.
I don't think Alexander would have done as good as a job. He's not that good at creepy. The couple
No.
things that
Right,
he's
right.
landed where he tries to be creepy, like Straw Dogs, he's not. He's good at like kind of sexy, even masculine, but they have to have a goofy side or he can't nail it. He has that like goofy side that like he has to have unless he plays like a powerful husband kind of rapist, and then he does it well. But that's probably just him.
I agree with
Which,
that.
whatever.
So my horror news is leading into that. So Salem's Lot has been ejected from like the theatrical slate altogether and is getting pushed to next year as well.
Oh
Good.
shit!
Yeah, and it's looking like it may be headed to streaming instead, which I wonder if, because we had Last Voyage of the Demeter, you have Nosferatu coming out, and if it goes to streaming, I wonder if it's because there's like a Nosferatu overload. So they're like,
Sure.
well, which sucks because I'd like to see like a movie adaptation as instead of a miniseries miniseries.
Are we entering
for them.
back into a vampire Renaissance? Are we out of the zombies?
Seems like it. There's
Guys,
been a
we're
lot
out of the zombies, guys. We're out.
Maybe.
We made it.
Think yes.
Yeah. So we'll
Good.
see. And
Thank
now
God.
it just doesn't have like a release date. So,
I didn't even know they were remaking Salem's Lot.
yep. It was supposed to come out in April.
Yeah.
And then they
Damn.
pushed it back. And now they're like, next year sometime.
Maybe I did, and it's just been buried in my mind because it's been so long that they've been talking about it.
This is a few weeks old, but I was like, fuck. Because I used to hate the movie or the miniseries because it's super long, like really long. But over the years, in my old age, I've grown to like it.
I think it's one of those things that a lot of people have clamored to be redone. Whereas, like, most of the time, people don't want to redo things. They're like, oh, just leave it alone.
Well,
but everybody says Salem's Lot has a chance of being done correctly, especially with like now the way TV horror is done. You know, especially what's his name, the guy who did Midnight Mass and the last show he just did with the Fall of House Usher, that guy. I think people can take long form horror TV shows better than, you know, it's probably done better, obviously, too.
Well, they did Rob Lowe did a remake of it, which, you know, is not great. And I started reading the books. I never read the book, and it's pretty good, but it's, you know, Stephen King, and there's always some weird. Stephen King is just traumatized me because I'm always waiting for the weird sexual thing to pop up in it and obviously it would be between the vampire hunter guy and the younger boy because it's already getting a little weird, and I'm like, all right, Stephen King, where's the coke come in? And you're just like, and then they held each other all night long and did some weird fucking seance thing where they got naked and had sex. I'm just like, but up until now, it's pretty good. But yeah, I'd like to see it.
That's the George R.R. Martin way of writing. When you get stuck, just put some penis in there.
Yeah,
it's just everything.
But
Stephen King, it's usually like 13-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah.
It's children, some weird children shit. I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, anyway, that's my horror news. I would like to see what happens with Salem's Lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So mine flows into all that on things getting pushed back, especially with the writers' strike and everything, which is now over. I don't think it was over the last time we had an episode.
Woo!
We did not. Nope.
Necessarily horror news, but I've been really excited about the Alien sitcom.
Yeah.
Or not sitcom, the Alien TV series that's been in the works.
Dina Morph comes in the
Sitcom
door.
would be great too. Yeah. Hey.
Laugh track.
I know this isn't a video podcast, but if everybody saw my face explode up when you said sitcoms.
That'd be fucking rad.
Laugh track.
But, so it's pushed back another year, but the main woman or girl they cast for it reminds me so much. Lately, there's been this thing, I think, in a lot of these shows in Hollywood, and I'm for it because they're super adorable, but these super petite kind of nymph pale girls with either like super blonde hair, black hair, like Kernan Shipka from the new Sabrina, like Sophia Ann Caruso, who was Lydia in the Beetlejuice original Broadway, and now she's done a bunch of acting stuff.
Oh, she's awesome.
She looks just like my best friend. It's so funny, although they're 20 years apart. But so it's not them in it, but this woman I've never heard of, but she looks like that same kind of look. Her name's Sydney Chandler. So they hadn't cast whoever was going to be opposite her, but they just announced, I think a couple of days ago, that Timothy Oliphant was going to be opposite her. So he was in The Mandalorian. He's Cobb Vanth. He also had that cowboy show. What the fuck was it called? Not Redemption. I'm going to look it up right now.
Deadwood?
I think he was in Deadwood. Yes, he was. And Justified. Justified was the one. He was also opposite Drew Barrymore and Santa Clarita Diet. Yep. So I hear this and I'm immediately like, opposite her, super typical Hollywood 25-year-old actress getting paired with like a 58-year-old man. But then a new article came out about it and actually talked about their characters. So he is a synth who is basically the mentor and trainer for her. And I'm like, okay, so maybe this won't be creepy. And then the next
Meh.
part of the sentence is Wendy, who is a hybrid metahuman who has the brain and consciousness of a child,
Oh, well, there it is.
but the body of an adult who is trying to find herself and sexuality.
Oh no,
I'll just leave you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah, that's Alien.
of course.
Oh, and
I
look,
mean, this-
as you said that, I see
synopsis goes
production
on.
location Thailand. Totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh,
Perfect sense.
Fuck.
yeah.
well.
There's characters named Toodles, Kit Young.
Toodles, like from Peter Pan.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
fucking Hollywood.
He really did lose his mind.
So, I mean, the good thing is that Sydney Chandler is a legal adult. She's 27 years
Yeah.
old.
That's good.
But that's the plot or the synopsis of the storyline.
Oh, it's on. Oh, it's going to be on FX.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I could already imagine
I
what this
mean-
will be like.
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Not in a bad way. Just there it is.
No, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be watchable. It's just a little disappointing.
weird.
That's all.
Eh.
No, I mean, I'm sure they'll make it fine, but it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
With a plot line like that, I'd expect it to at least be on like Cinemax.
A weird standalone American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure there's obviously many other parts of the story and everything else.
We'll
So,
find out. What if it's just that
Yep.
part? She's just like this
yes,
8-year-old
the
trapped
whole
in like
thing
a
is just about that.
20-year-old's body. He's like, what are these?
Well, no, it's really
Things
Scott,
on my
though.
chest.
It could drag.
But she's only half human.
Yeah, well,
But then, I mean, as long as there's aliens murdering people,
I don't
feel
know.
like it's
man.
fine.
Ridley Scott, he has weird pacing issues, and it's TV. Yeah, you know,
And does he have anything to do with this?
he's executive producing it, but
Oh, he is. Okay. I
yeah,
didn't
but
see
you know,
that.
somebody will
Alright.
edit the shit out of it.
Yeah.
facts.
Oh, so that's that.
Ooh, that's a good news
Oh,
break.
and there's-
That's good news. Good block.
There's also a new fucking Godzilla versus Kong trailer out that I sent to Eve.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the other Godzilla.
It looks
come
like
out
there's
this
two
weekend.
monkeys.
Yep.
Well, wait, they're not
Two
really
Kongs?
monkeys. They're two gorillas.
Gorillas.
Gorilla monster kaijus.
Yeah.
And if
I'm
you
over
haven't been watching Monarch, you should because it's fun.
Monarch is good. Okay. We need to talk about Monarch
Did
real
you
quick.
say it's good?
Yeah, I like
Did
it.
you
Yeah.
say it's good? I'm so
What the fuck is
happy.
Monarch?
Oh, what? You don't know?
Oh shit, dude!
Uh-oh.
Tell
Oh
our
my
listeners
god!
and me.
Kick him! Wait, we're kicking him off right now. Sorry, we're
What?
sorry for everyone who's listening right now. We are taking Mike off the
Do the
cast.
do the listeners know about Monarch?
Yeah.
Like everybody
Yeah.
knows.
So it's Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which is like a
Apple TV.
Yeah, like a
Excuse me,
prequel
you
to
bougie bitches with your
Yeah.
Apple TV.
to
Oh,
like
I
all
don't
the
have Apple
Godzilla.
TV.
I know. I use Plex. I know.
Yeah, same.
Is it on? Is it on there?
We're gonna have to bleep out the name he just said.
Uh-huh.
Charlet.
So
Charlie.
it's on there, and it's Kurt Russell and his son, and it takes place in multiple different generations, and it's all about the origins of kaiju.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep. It's good.
We are shutting the fucking front door for you, buddy, because it's true.
No,
This shit
nobody,
is true.
nobody's talking about this show.
They
When did
should
it
be.
start? Yesterday?
Like
They should be.
couple
No,
weeks
it's
ago.
on episode 4 now.
Guys,
Right.
I got to be honest. I've been really stuck in the cult world. I've been watching like too many cult docuseries on HBO, and I'm just
Oh,
lost.
same.
I'm in the garden.
We'll talk later
I'm in
about
the
that.
fucking Mother Earth.
Mhm.
I'm all over it. So
Mhm.
I'm lost. I need to
Same.
get back into the kaiju zone. All right.
It's entertaining. It's very
Thank you.
interesting. But be warned. This is the one thing that
There are
What?
no kaijus. I got it.
no, there are. That's
Okay.
that's the good part.
I
But
figured they were not coming.
it does they're in like the first 5 minutes of the
10
first scene,
seconds.
of the first episode. But there's this weird phenomenon now that things like to do, shows and movies where they like to mix languages,
Okay.
where they'll have one
And
person
not do subtitles.
and not do the subtitles. So they'll have someone speaking in English, talking to someone else who's answering them back in whatever language. This happens to be Japanese. With no subtitles, and they're having a full-on conversation. So you're like,
I just saw something else do that recently.
a bunch of movies have done
Dude,
that.
everything, a bunch of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
really
like,
cool, but like not stupid.
yeah, I'm like, what the fuck are they saying?
The worst culprits are like Spanish,
Yeah.
Japanese, and South American.
I mean,
And like, you know what? The Latin-based languages, I can get the gist. But Japanese, come the fuck on. They know nobody in the U.S. Well, okay. They know less than 1% of the people in the U.S. are like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand
I get this because I don't got it.
Yeah, and like you have to put on
I mean,
the
I can
forced
tell if
captions.
they're angry
Yeah.
sometimes.
How many episodes are there?
It's on 4 now.
3.
Yeah.
But I think 4 came out tonight.
Yeah. Or
Fuck.
It's good.
I gotta put down the Boulay Brothers and pick
Even
up the
he said it
Monarch.
was good.
yeah. The only thing, well, there's 2 things. One is the whole
Yeah.
language thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes they'll have like a full-on conversation in Japanese with no subtitles with each other. And you're like, well, what the fuck are you saying? I have no idea. But Kurt Russell's son is the worst at playing like a tough action hero. Like he is not his dad. He's a big, goofy kid. Is good in
Okay, but you know what he is, though? He is the guys you went to school with who were the tough guys.
I don't know. I went to school with like pretty tough dudes. He's just like,
I don't mean the ones smoking cigarettes out back and busting people's teeth in. I'm talking about the ones with money, the preppy guys who tried to be tough.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
that
Is
he could play.
Godzilla in the show?
Oh yeah.
Of course. It's about kaiju.
Yeah.
I know, but
I like.
I didn't
If
know.
only you guys could see
Mike's
this video.
mind
Mike
is
Terry's
blown
like
right
everything is going crazy right now. He's
He's
like,
like,
wait, what? What?
What
Is this real
An alien
life?
sitcom?
I'm gonna make that now.
You should.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe Kickstarter.
I feel like the radio guy, like from fucking A League of Their Own, girls playing baseball.
Mhm.
What a league! Fuck Monarch. I just texted like 12 different people. Like, why is nobody talking about this? Everybody responded with, "I don't have Apple TV."
Right. I mean, you can find it. There's ways.
I'll find it even without Charlene's help.
Yeah. But it's good. I was surprised. I figured if there's at least monsters in it, I'm going to be into it. Like it'll be at least entertaining, and it has proven to be entertaining and
Wild.
pretty good. Yeah. So
With Kurt Russell.
yeah. Well, yeah, his son plays him when he's young, and then he plays himself when he's older. Yeah.
Literally. Oh, the Godzilla show. Fuck, no one's on this shit. Anyway, that's great. This is a great news block, guys. It's probably the best news block in a while.
Hell yeah.
Mike's excited.
Hell yeah.
I think
Fun
you're
all
excited
kinds
to
of-
feel these nipples.
I'll imagine I can.
Anyone else got anything before we get out of here?
I don't. Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't get anything either. So that's been yeah. All right. That was more news. So now we're gonna get into Thanksgiving. It's had enough time for everyone to see it and to think about it. So we're gonna talk about it before
Yes.
November's over. All right.
Oh, I have a new impression.
Uh-oh. Okay.
We'll get to that later.
Don't forget it.
Right. So, yeah, Eli Roth came out with this wanting to be retro slasher horror movie, and he made it. So I'm going to read the little synopsis. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. Yeah, that's definitely a synopsis. Yeah.
We're waiting since 2007 for this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. What do we want to start off with? What we liked or what we didn't like about it?
Start with the good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're the guest.
I like
There
that
you
it didn't. I like that it paid homage to the original fake trailer. from Grindhouse, but without being a grimy, dirty, filthy movie. Because I just don't think that where we are in 2023, that's the type of horror that's in right now. I think it could have played decent with like a Terrifier vibe of things.
Right.
But I think the vibe that they went for with the early 2000s campy slasher movie, like, was a better choice. And I think, and I feel even more strongly about that now after hearing that not Robert Rodriguez, Eli Roth said he wants people to think about the new Thanksgiving movie as if it was a remake of the one from the trailer from 2007, as if it was like a reimagining of like this dirty old Thanksgiving horror movie from the 70s or 80s. And once I heard that, it kind of stamped down my opinion on that, which was this was the right move to make. And I thought that that all of it pretty much hit for the most part. There's obviously things that could be fixed, but in the good of it all, I thought the gore was good, and I thought that it was funny as fucking hell. I was laughing so loud in the beginning of this movie during that whole riot scene with that fucking first woman who gets it. Like, she was hilarious, just in line screaming.
I was gasping.
I was laughing so loud at her. She was like,
I was laughing too. But
so over the top, like fake Boston accent that it was so funny. And just like, I don't know, it just was so ridiculous. All of it that it made me laugh a lot. Like, dude, the idea that the kid was like, I need to go to the store so I can get a phone. And they said, why are you getting a phone? You're going to the movies. And he's like, how am I going to text during the movie? Was like so like spot on and not like a shitty way. It was like, so like that was the tone they went for, and it went the whole movie that way. And I was fine with it. It was just a lot of fun. I had so much fun. It was totally a throwback to me of like old slasher meets 2000s horror in like the best way. And we can pick it apart as we go, but that was my initial review.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I thought it was for sure fun. The kills were good. It had Tim Dillon in it, which I fucking love Tim Dillon. He's fucking hilarious. And it had like my childhood crush, Gina Gershon. I popped so hard when I saw her. I was like,
she's such
oh
a
my
babe.
God. Oh my God.
He's a babe.
Gina Gershon, yes. And like you said,
She's still a babe.
oh, for sure.
Oh,
yeah, it was fun. I liked that it was not too serious and campy. And there's definitely things I didn't like about it, but I appreciated what it did. To me, it was definitely more of a throwback to, like you said, early 2000s, 90s slasher movies, as opposed to like,
it was like a whodunit.
Right,
you know?
right. As opposed to like, I think when he started doing some press for it, he was trying to say like an 80s kind of slasher thing. And I'm like, it was definitely more of like a, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, early 2000s slasher.
I don't agree at all. And
but the gore
surprisingly
was
enough,
there.
my husband
Right.
didn't either, who hates 2000s and 90s stuff. He claimed it was way more 70s. And I thought
Because the gore, you think?
Mid 80s. Because of the campiness. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Did not have intentional campiness or humor, and it was not gory to me. It was like really mid. Like, there's blood.
You know what? I think you're right. And I think I Know What You Did Last Summer is a great example of something that is campy now looking back at it. But at the time, it was trying to be something else. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I remember seeing it at that age, and people were like freaked the fuck out. And I was just like, this isn't even gory or scary. It's kind of funny. But it was not meant to be. Like things like My Bloody Valentine and like movies of that time, which may not have, well, even those had humor in it. To me, this is nothing like anything from the 90s or 2000s. Nothing like Scream, other than the fact that there's a whodunit. But like, that's a really weird corner to put this movie in just because of that.
Sure.
Like an obvious whodunit.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a movie like I walked
not
into
to be like your opinion sucks.
No, I mean, your
opinion is the one of like a lot of people, but for me, I kind of felt like it wasn't that.
I mean, those are completely valid points. I can see what you mean, but for me, I just think because of like the technology, and it was kind of making fun of itself in it, which
totally.
was ended up being a more 90s. Scream ushered that in, like, hey, we're gonna make fun of ourselves.
I was gonna say Scream. I understand more. I know what you did
Yeah.
last summer, and some of the other ones less.
Sure, no,
Because
yeah,
Scream
yeah.
did
Yeah.
have a good amount of campiness, but
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
thought this
Scream
was very-
created that vibe.
Right.
Does that
I
make
think this is
sense?
more like trauma camp. Like there was a lot. I've got a lot of trauma vibes at times.
It definitely had
in there.
some like poultry guy. I mean, like Dead Alive Poltergeist kind of level gore
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, like the gore.
So I think it did
and the-
do trauma,
yeah.
kind of old Peter Jackson. I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah,
could
yeah,
tell
yeah.
they had fun making it. They're like, all right, this is going to be funny, or this is going to be a ridiculous kill, or this
And
is
they
gonna be
tried
a
to
ridiculous
push
scene.
the boundaries of like mainstream
Right.
movies. It's
I
something
mean,
that
we're
would be in, like, a
we're
regular
three
theater.
people. We are three people that are on the extreme end of horror fan, right? So like, we're here
For
doing
sure.
a podcast talking about it. Whereas like, just put yourself in the average box of an average viewer who likes horror movies but isn't like obsessed with them. There is a girl I work with who's like a total normie, super like Instagram-y type of girl.
Mhm.
She's around our age, and she is like your run of the mill, just like I like horror movies a lot, but I'm not like a super fan. And so like I feel like this was like, oh, this is extremely gory for somebody like her. And I think like the average
Oh, yeah.
horror
Yeah.
movie fan, like this
It
is very
was gory
gory
for
compared to like
me.
Scream. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love gore, but like I was sitting next to my husband. They're like, I was totally like, like making noise, and he was like,
Yeah.
Well, he definitely
really? And I was
delivered
like, holy shit!
on the kills and the gore
The
for
the
sure.
oven scene,
Yeah.
the oven
Yeah.
scene was the one that got me. The oven scene with
Ugh.
with her
Dude,
in it cooking and towards the end.
I was waiting for that because
same.
they, as soon as I saw the oven, I'm like, oh yeah,
That's a big ass oven.
Yeah, I'm like, yep, she's going in there, and she had all
But
the
that was
garnishes
rough.
on her.
That was the
One
rough
thing
one for
on
me.
that though, before she got off that tray he had her on. Well, I should wait because this would be a don't like about the movie,
Right.
but I'm just gonna skip around. The thing
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
like
fine.
is that she was around that fucking tray and like with vegetables, and he's buttering her up. Okay, if there wasn't a second killer or someone helping, there is no fucking way one person could
Yeah.
have moved something that's like 6 foot by 3 foot with a grown ass woman on it and vegetables and lifted that up and put it into a fucking oven. I am sorry. Maybe if he slid off the table and like carried her over his fucking head like a
Yeah,
dumbbell
is-
or whatever.
there is a
but,
lot
like,
of
why
that
would you
in
even
this.
think of
Yeah,
that?
there's
Totally. But that
yeah.
was one that like was very glaring. Like I was waiting for a second killer. I was like, oh, they are going to scream
That's-
this. That tipped me off that there has to be someone else.
Yeah, there were a few parts in it. I mean, I figured out who the killer was. See, my one
Did you
issue-
really? Because
Yeah, I
I was
did.
guessing the whole
I-
time.
I did.
was guessing
I did.
About halfway
I did about-
through, which sucks
I was
because I
like,
never
yeah,
used
an
to
hour in.
watch movies like this. I'm like, oh, who is it? I used to just go with it, but now I do, and I'm like, all right. But like Oubliette was saying, it had to be two because some of the
I thought it was two
Piece
also,
of it,
but
yeah.
but when it wasn't, I was like, okay.
I mean, I just took it for
but
what it
here's the
was,
thing.
but
Like when you said you were guessing the killer, Mike, here's the thing with me. Like the movie opens and Patrick Dempsey is going into their house.
Right.
Gina's
They give him the
obviously
Michael
flirting with him. And
they give him the
Gina's
Michael
obviously
Myers
flirting with
camera.
him. And even if you don't even think that they're together, you still think that family's close.
right.
Then all that shit happens. And then it's like a year later. And he's immediately kissing up to the guy who owns the store and always around the guy with the store. Like, why would this dude who was literally in the home of these people who ended up being completely fucked up all of a sudden have nothing to do with that husband,
Hmm.
not talking about that woman dying and being buddy with the owner of like Walmart?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that to me is what immediately I was like, oh, it's the cop.
Yeah.
It's like, why is he being so cool and nice to this guy? Because a police officer does not have to be nice to a business owner.
Well, yeah, and
Like-
they had him around a lot, but not really
All
in
the time.
like an engaging way.
Right.
He was just kind of there, and you're like, he's like lurking. You know what I mean? And I was like,
When you say
he's
it
gotta
now,
have
like
something.
after the reveal, sure, he's definitely around all the time
Yeah.
for no reason.
Well, and the biggest one is he did what every bad guy who's being a good guy in a movie does and say, don't trust anyone.
Right.
I can't
Right.
think of a single movie where someone says that and they're not the bad guy unless they're just trying to make you think they're the bad guy. So to me, I was like, oh, it's.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just got GQ's Man of the Year and they made all these side comments about like, I saw a couple of things about like, is he really, I don't know. There were some underlying things that I was like, are they giving away the killer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it seems like they are.
Yeah.
And it just fits.
I thought the kill
Okay.
scenes were entertaining. I thought they
100%.
they were all pretty fun in their own
Yeah.
way. They were all different, which was nice. I thought that opening one was really good in the diner, and then
Yep.
Oh yeah.
the one in the house with the security guard was okay, but the fact that he fed the cat was like the fun part of that one. Like, you know,
Right,
that was like
right.
a whatever one. And then you know, I know a lot of people aren't like big Eli Roth fans, and I feel like this is like probably one of his better movies. And I enjoyed Knock
I like
Knock.
Eli Roth.
Yeah.
I like Eli Roth too. I like his style because it's his style.
His TV shows are a pile of shit. His fake reality TV
Yeah.
shows, his exorcism shows and all that, those are a pile of shit.
Oh, yeah,
Which I've
no,
only
no.
watched like minutes of each of them and like Chamber of Horrors. Totally overindulgent. But his movies, I like his movies. I like Knock Knock. What's wrong with Knock Knock?
Yeah,
It's got
Knock
sexy
Knock.
ladies
No,
and
I've-
Keanu Reeves.
I like Knock Knock. I liked Green Inferno for all the things that were wrong with it. I like a lot of his movies. I like the first Hostel
Yeah.
movie, but
Let's
like I know
get
a lot of
Cannibal
people
stoned
don't
because
like
they
him.
definitely won't eat us.
Right. He has a campiness to it. He said in an interview that his favorite movie of all time is Mother's Day, the trauma
Mhm.
movie. So like that totally makes sense,
Right.
you know, with the movies he makes. And I like that he was not like grossy gore as much in this one, like he is in Hostel. Like he was very, like it stayed
I
in
thought it was
the
grossy
realm
gore.
of the movie he was making. Like not like super
Yeah.
like filthy. It didn't have like this like griminess to it. It definitely had the
It was-
campiness to it.
Yeah, it was a little more clean for sure.
Oh,
I
this
know
is fun.
exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
It was fun. It wasn't dark.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a fun movie. Like, obviously, a normal person would probably be like, oh my fucking God. But anyone, like I said, who's watched some of the old movies that were over the top and comedic, it's going to hit a soft spot.
Yeah.
But
But if you watch that trailer, the fake trailer is dark as hell. Like it's really dark.
Well, no, totally. And that's why I kind of liked how you noted on like what he had said about that, because like going into the film, he said like, let's pretend Thanksgiving was a movie from the 80s that was so offensive that every print was destroyed. All the scripts were burned. The director disappeared. The crew members changed their names. One person saved the trailer and uploaded it to the darkest corners of 4chan, and now it's made it out. So this is the 2023 reboot.
Right.
Yeah,
Which I think
exactly.
is-
Yeah.
And that's great.
And that's accurate for sure.
Perfect.
I mean, I was shocked that I saw some people that were just like, that movie fucking sucks. It's horrible. It's this, it's that. And like, I didn't think it
People
was
were like, the character development was awful. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is that?
It's
What
not
the
that
fuck
kind
does
of
this movie have
movie.
to do with character
Yeah,
development?
like, this was not that
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
like
movie.
you're like it's the movie you're rooting for people to die in.
Yeah. And I
Are
mean,
we
it's,
supposed to cry like the Notebook? Like, I don't know what you
Yeah.
mean.
yeah, I
Did you guys
was,
notice that they were talking about somebody in the movie is like a TikTok celebrity or star? They got found off of TikTok, and I don't know which character it was, but they're like,
I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. Who the
it's
fuck
probably
are we
one of the
talking
kids,
about?
I'm sure, but I just don't know which one. But I thought that all the young actors and
If I
actresses
had to
were
guess,
good
it
in
would be the Russian girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something maybe.
Yeah, her dad was
If
so
I had to
funny.
Yeah.
It was
I
so
love
funny.
that dude when he came in, tracksuit and all, just like,
Yeah.
we're going to Florida.
Yeah,
Checks
like,
out.
I loved it. He's like, we're going to Florida. I was like, this is great. This is like the only smart one who was like, let's get the fuck out of here. And I
Yeah.
really thought, maybe I'm naive and bought into it, but I really thought that was it. Like she was just gonna be gone. Like, she actually
Yeah,
got
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, she got
So
away.
Which one was Lizzie? Do you guys remember?
Lizzie.
Right.
Oh, I have the IMDb
Whichever
up.
one was Lizzie is actually the ninth great niece of John Carver, Tava, and that was the
Amanda
real
Barker.
accent.
Amanda Barker.
Yeah,
Well, look at
Wow.
that. Interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, she was the
Cook? Or
Lizzie is the
Waitress?
diner woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the waitress.
Oh, that makes sense. Of course, she's real Boston.
So good. That's so good. That makes it even better now.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be wearing those masks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the accent and the guy from what was it? The kid from the neighboring school, like Hanover or whatever.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I love that.
It was
that
also
dude wore a
funny because I
fucking
was just
gold chain.
talking about people. Oh yeah, and I was just talking about people from Mass with my husband before we saw the movie, not realizing that it took place there. We were talking about the accent, and I'm like, oh,
As we
yes,
call them,
it's so
mass
strong.
holes.
Did you guys
Cool,
notice
man.
that this part of the writing of the script, which I thought was really clever, was that the main character, who I can't think of her name right now, was Jessica. She was like somewhat befriended to the weird outcast dude who had the party and sold her the guns.
Yeah.
I like that he was like the weird sidekick of the group that got like
He's the best one. The older guy, the heavy metal guy.
Yeah.
the
When
guy
he
was like,
tells
you don't know
those
who
kids
Black
to get
Sabbath.
off the fucking property with Black Sabbath. Yeah. I looked over because I knew my husband would smile. I'm like, you like that part, don't you? And he's like, I like
just
that
think-
guy. I'm like, I know you do.
I think that character and the way he is written into the story is part of the reason why I think this movie feels good and is getting positive reviews. I think that the attention to details of the relationships or just the vibe of the movie, like they didn't need to make that character like close to the group where he was like looking out for everybody. He could have just been like this weird offshoot character, but like they kind of brought him in and like kind of developed his character, even though they didn't really need to. And I just thought that was,
dude,
he was more developed than some of the
that
friends.
guy's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I really think he was setting that character up to be like in a sequel if there was one. Or he's, and it's
there's
funny,
definitely
these
gonna be
movies
one.
and shows
we're like,
and
fuck yeah,
shows
that dude's
recently,
back.
like
Yeah.
no, he will be. And you've seen a lot of the shows, even like Stranger Things and movies recently, where they have that kind of like outcast heavy metal kid, and they're the lovable ones that people are like really into. Obviously, he's a little more on the white trash end of it, but
I mean,
like
he's a drug dealer and
he
a
is.
house
He's that
party
like
guy. Yeah. Gun runner.
well, right. He's a drug dealer who's literally giving kids alcohol and drugs at his house.
guns.
His dad owns a gun store, but yet he has a heart of gold.
Yeah.
And what's funny
Redemption.
is for those of us who grew up in the 80s, like that's a real person. That's like somebody we
100%.
knew.
I mean, that's a real person now.
And like,
Dude, the
well, no,
5-disc
it is
changer
too,
where
but
he
I
was
mean-
hiding his gun was
Yeah.
amazing.
but I mean, the 80s heavy metal type guy,
Yeah,
that trope being that it's different now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I went to school with that guy and I smoked cigarettes with him,
Yeah.
I didn't. He was great.
I didn't understand how anyone could like absolutely hate. I mean, people can love or hate whatever they want, but this might not have been like my favorite movie or anything, but it was fun for sure.
It kind of might make, this year hasn't been super strong, but it kind of might make my top 10 list of the year. Like and maybe it's
top
recency.
10, yeah.
It's
For me, it
recency
would.
bias, but it was a lot of fun, and no other movie kind of gave off its vibe that it did this year for me.
And they use practical effects. in it.
Dude, the pipe through the head,
This was
like in the
not-
car.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
they
hair.
said that the filming took almost double the time it would have otherwise because he really wanted to use all the practical effects that you used to use in the old movies, which I think if they would have gone CGI big time, it would have not been as endearing or fun.
Yeah.
100% agree.
All right, I have a major con though. Here's my big con.
All right.
Okay.
So I'll start it with a pro of it.
It was
rolls
filmed in Canada. We know, Mike. You hate Canadians.
That's what it is. Just like Rumble in the Bronx.
Valerie, if you're listening, he's out.
Just like Rumble in the Bronx. Rumble in Toronto.
Yeah.
So my pro of this scene is, if you go back and watch the trailer from Grindhouse, they did shot for shot remakes of scenes from that trailer, which was awesome.
Right.
The con was, there is a scene in the trailer that was the big part of the trailer, which was the cheerleader stripping down and jumping on the trampoline, and then the knife goes like up her vagina.
Right.
And this one,
Well,
they
first in
redo
her foot, then her vagina.
right. But in this one, they skipped that scene. They did the scene, but they skipped that shot. And I thought that shot was really like gross point of the original trailer. And I thought in the movie they could have done it similar because they redid it and they just didn't go for it. And I obviously understand why they probably didn't, or maybe they just chose not to.
How did they do it in the movie? I thought it goes in her foot and then like
in
up
the
her
movie
ass.
it goes into her foot and then her thigh and then like that's it. You don't see like it's like the main
I
shot
didn't even
of that
notice
trailer.
Yeah,
And it's only because I remember that trailer being like that was the big part of the trailer of being like, oh, like when that happened in the theater, seeing Grindhouse. And recently, when like maybe a week or two ago, before seeing the new Thanksgiving, I rewatched the trailer. I was like, oh yeah, that fucking scene. I was like, I wonder if that'll be in the movie. And then when I saw other scenes playing out, I was like, oh, they're doing it. Maybe they're going to do it. And then when they did it, I was like, here it comes. And they didn't do it. And I wasn't that disappointed, but it's got to be a con for me because I thought
you were just waiting for it though. You know what I mean? You were like anticipating it, and then you're like, wait,
yeah,
what
buddy.
happened to it? Yep, I get it.
But like that's such a minor qualm with it. Minor qualm.
My biggest issue with it is I just hate. I hate kids. I hate the kids nowadays. I just can't. I don't know. I just don't like. There's too much technology, and the kids nowadays are just too like.
That's not the movie's fault.
It's not the movie's fault, but I just can't connect in any way because being born in like the later part of the Gen X, and then you grow up in the 80s. And I talked about this before. We're kind of like the bridge in between what millennials and the early part of Gen X, where it's like we know better, and we kind of have like this street smart type thing, and we know things are dangerous, so we're kind of like that wouldn't be a good idea. But the kids nowadays have been so desensitized from the internet, like they're just like, let me get my phone out and go over. I mean, there's always been that idiot kid, even when we were younger, they'd be like, I'm going to go look over. And you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, don't do that. But now it's everywhere. There's like no sense of danger because to them, it's just I'm going to get this on my phone and then I'm going to get a bunch of hits on it. I'm going to go to TikTok. So they're doing shit that no normal person, or I guess no person our age would be like, what?
But that would totally happen. That's what that
exactly. Well, yeah,
But here's the thing, like her holding up the phone at the end being like, you just said this to everyone, is just like movies back in the day where someone would like take the fucking rotary phone or a regular phone and like have it on and they'd be saying it, be like, everyone just heard you, and call the police.
Right. That's a major part of the writing. The plot point is that the phone is in another place and he's posting to social media tagging them. So like, that's a huge part of the story.
Right. Like I just hate that generation now because
nowadays. So.
There's no like sense of
if you want the complete opposite of that, then watch It Follows, a movie that has no technology on purpose. No phones, no parents, no technology. But it's the same idea. It's annoying kids who would be doing the same thing. But yeah, and this one for sure, the phone is is totally a part of part of the movie.
You know, there's a huge crowd like the store scene. I got to go get my phone. Dude, we're going to the movie. This is insanity right now. No, it's cool. I got to get my phone because I got to upload stuff and I got to text. And you're like, okay, this isn't a good idea. We shouldn't be doing this, but they do it anyway because they need to get that social media fucking adrenaline, fucking dopamine hit. So, but that's just me personally. I'm like,
but that's the commentary. You bought into it. That's the commentary they're making. It was well done, smart. You're definitely not the only one who feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's completely accurate, but I hate them.
It just annoys you.
Yeah. And it's like it's an annoyance because it's like a lot of these movies nowadays, for me anyway, not that the killer was terrible. He was just kind of like whatever to me, but there's a lot of movies where I don't necessarily care about the character like at all. But then that's
what I kind of like, is that the killer like is like,
but I don't necessarily care about.
It's not a Jason. It's not a Michael Myers. It's not. Right. It's just this fucking
revenge
in a mask.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't necessarily care
about the kills
character. So I'm like, I don't care if he kills them or if they die. So I'm just kind of just watching for the gore or for the kills.
It's a slash fest.
Yeah. I mean, and I think to tack on to that.
Beautiful in that.
Yeah.
I'm
I
tired
think
of
that-
caring about shit. I'm tired of like movies that get too emotional or boring. Like this, I think, especially going into the holiday season where everyone's stressed and the emotions are running high, this is perfect for that because it's none of that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't get attached. Everybody's silly. It's fun. There's enough like camaraderie that you're like, oh, I kind of like them. They survived. It's fine. But like, that's it.
Yeah, but
Great.
me and Mike have talked about this before, that you kind of want either to root for the people to die, so you root for the killer, or you root for the people to thwart the killer's attempts. And lately there's just kind of none of that for me. So I'm just like,
I agree. And this one, I just rooted for more silly gore. I was like, what's the next
Yeah.
weird thing that's going to kill somebody or like pop
This was the
out
one
of
for me. I've
nowhere or
definitely,
whatever.
yeah,
I didn't really care if any, like, the main girl, sure, she was fine. Or the heavy metal dude, he was the guy that you want,
Right.
want to live. Like, hopefully that guy doesn't die is what you're saying the whole time.
yeah, yeah.
But like,
That's true. And he lived.
Yeah, and he lived.
As far
And
as
they
we know.
all, the core of them lived. Most of them, just like the side friends are the ones who died. There's still like a big chunk of them left.
Yeah.
And I think, I want to go back and watch it because I think the clues to who the killer is and why the killer did what he did, the motives behind it, I think they're all accurate. I think though my other con is that the reveal was pretty clunky. Like at the end, it was kind of confusing because they were in this warehouse, but it also doubled as like a police headquarters. It wasn't the police headquarters, but it was they were in a police office, but they were inside the warehouse where they were building the floats. It was really confusing.
It was super. That's a part that was really confusing.
And
to
the
me.
cops were sabotaging that whole thing, but he was the killer. And you're like, okay, none of the other cops
Right.
realized
And he was
that
like laying there.
the
and he was like,
lead
I
of
got-
the 4 cops are gone.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, he got knocked out and he was just laying there and she woke him up. So like the plan was almost fucked for him to begin with.
Yeah.
And then like, you're like, are they at the police station? But then when they walked out of there, they were like, still
And was he
in,
really
like,
knocked out, or did he do that on purpose to make people? I thought he did it on purpose to make.
So
people
did I.
think that
I thought he was just
fucked up
laying
from the
there
killer, so
waiting.
he could fuck her up. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I thought so too, because like he knew she was coming. But I guess I could spin into a positive. I thought the whole like he had like a thing stuck to his leg was a great it's him.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really good.
The little
Jaggers
spur
or
thing.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes it an easy thing, not some weird thought out bullshit.
Right.
Like,
Right. It was like, oh shit, he fucked up. And he said like,
his
they're always
sleeve
gonna
is
fuck
rolled up here and like his collar here, and I saw a guy with this.
Well, yeah, like you said, dude, that was tripping me out because I was thinking, okay, they're making the floats in this like warehouse thing, and now they're back there, but the police, there's like a police office.
There is an office with desks. There
Right. I'm
totally
like,
is.
what? Wait, where are
Maybe
we?
it's the warehouse office.
Right, but they have like, it's the warehouse police, like secret. I guess like there's definitely a scene that sets up that office, and it was definitely cut to the floor to make the movie shorter because they talk about how there's going to be a bunch of guys here. We're going to spring on them. You just got to get them here and be the bait.
Yeah.
So like there were supposed to be all these cops there, and they were still there waiting, but some of them got killed or whatever happened. And then when they went into that office, you're like, it looked too much like a police station.
Yeah.
So I was like, this doesn't look like a makeshift office, but it was like, it wasn't told to us that that's what that space was.
Yeah.
We weren't told that space was like this, like the holding cell or whatever inside the warehouse.
Yeah, whatever it is. Well,
Yeah. It was confusing.
Another thing that fucking annoyed me is, I mean, there was a little bit of this in the 80s where they would like sneak into like an empty classroom and hash out their plan or whatever. But there was a lot of this in the 90s where like they were in this beautician, whatever area in a school. But the lights are on, like kids are like classes out and everything. And they're just full on, just a group of kids in this fucking classroom.
Well, so they were sent to go back in to go get somebody's phone or something like that. Like something just happened there because all the cops were outside. So like they thought they were safe, but the guy just disappeared. They weren't safe. They're like, he's missing still.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, teachers would be like, hey, kids, what are you doing in there? Get the fuck out.
That was a fun velociraptor.
Another reason
in the
I was
kitchen
like,
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another reason I was like, Patrick Dempsey's the killer. Because he's
Right.
totally like, yeah, go ahead and go in there. Just, don't be alone.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that because I'm like, this dude's just sitting out there.
And I'm
But
like,
I think during that scene,
yes,
the camera
sir.
cuts to him sitting out there. So it
No,
throws
it
you
cuts
off.
the
It doesn't?
other officer. No, it's the other guy.
I got to go back and watch it again.
That's the thing. Like, I kept seeing that. I was like, oh, it's him. It's totally him. Because I was like, then it can't be him because he's out there. But they never showed him when she looked
He's
out
so
the window
nice
again.
and helpful.
So what's
I'm
funny
down
though?
for Thanksgiving too.
So
I'm really down for it.
I am too. So what's funny is Gina Gershwin and Patrick Dempsey weren't actually cast in this. They asked to be.
Good. I'm glad
Both of
she was
them
in.
reached out to Eli Roth and were like, we want to be in your next horror movie. And he was just like, all right.
Good.
And that's
I was just happy
so-
to see Gina Gershon. I'm like, yes.
But they
So-
did it after he had already written the script. So he didn't write the script for them. He just literally was like, okay, and did like a friend favor and was like, go ahead and be in this movie.
Well, Gina
I have-
Gershon knocked it out
Which
of the
part
park.
do you want?
When she showed
She died
up,
real good.
When she showed up, I could tell who in the audience was like a
When they
horror
ripped
person,
off
like,
her
like a fan.
scalp.
Like they're like, oh, there she is.
Yeah, the scalp thing. I was like, ugh.
The scalp thing. Nobody wants to see that. There's
No.
nothing, there can't be anything worse than just a piece of your fucking scalp.
Yeah,
being
you just
ripped
saw
off
it on the
like that.
wheel, like winding up a little more and a little more. I was like,
Oh, dude.
Here
And
it
the
comes.
fucking hammerhead crush scene. I'm sorry, but that was a pretty nice practical effect, like fucking head watermelon.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When they- like when the first hit, I was like, oh, that's good. And then they just kept showing it, and I was like, oh, they're just gonna go all out and just like pulverize this kid's head, like
Worst
not
kill
even
in the movie though.
stop showing it.
Yeah.
Starts strong, but worst kill in the
oven.
movie. No, the first scene where she puts her face in the water and like drowns her, and then puts her to the fridge, the walk-in. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's nuts. But then the way she dies
Oh,
is so dumb. She gets hit by the car, but then the plastic lid of the
Dude, I said the same thing.
it was a plastic lid. The lid. Of the
I was like,
of the
wait,
garbage
how the
can.
fuck is that gonna
Yeah.
chop someone in half? It's
It was so quick, and then
yeah,
he
So-
like brought her body up to hang it up, which seems
Yeah.
crazy, also. But
right. Yeah,
To do
So
by
can I
yourself.
say one
maybe
thing?
it was a
My husband-
ridiculously heavy lid. I don't know.
No. My husband said the same thing, and that garbage can is the same one we had. I'm not going to say which restaurant. At one of the
work, at work.
restaurants. And it looks plastic, but the edges of it
Yeah.
are not. And we had a kid, he was 22, and he cut this whole
Right.
part, his thumb down to his wrist, and he came in holding it and was like, Courtney, I did something. And I was like, what? And he's like, the garbage lid fell on me. And I'm like, it's fine. It's not that heavy. You're good. And he goes like this, and his thumb just dropped almost
Yeah.
to his elbow. And it
Yeah.
was the goriest thing I've ever seen in my real life that I had to take somebody in the hospital. So
Okay, so that
I
scene
will just
probably did a lot
say-
to you.
that thing can
Could do
Right.
some
some of
damage.
those that look thin and plastic aren't, and they feel really sharp and they're metal and they can fucking cut through way more. Because I couldn't believe it. I was like, it couldn't have done that much damage. And then it just was like,
Dude, she
Well,
was.
yeah.
It was like knife through butter.
Yeah.
It's like so
I
quick.
mean,
I was like,
After I saw
dude,
it,
the cut in his fucking hand, even the doctor was like, what did this? This is like the cleanest cut I've ever seen through tendon and bone. It went through his
meat
bone.
slicer, nope, garbage can lid.
This part, the bone through his hand, separated it down to his wrist.
Yeah.
He almost died. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The
After
car
that,
had so much blood in it. There was like pools in the fucking seat. It was
Ugh.
so gross.
after that lid came down,
It's that same trash can.
right?
So, trust me. It's like I think it. I don't know if it's real, but it could be real. It could be
Right.
real, guys.
And I
That
thought
seems
just
like
like
fucked
you,
up
I
a
was just
Ugh.
thinking, I was like, those lids are plastic. How the fuck? And then I was like, well, I guess maybe if it was like a steel lid, then sure, but it's probably going to confuse a lot of people. Being like, well, fuck, you know. So they
so
could've-
in the sequel, does he? So he can come back and what? Right, they never found him.
no
right?
no
Is that-
double tap. Always got a double tap.
Right, and like the fact that thing blew up and somehow the car came loose of that pole would definitely not happen. But
Right.
I was like, that pole was not getting blown up. But
Right.
they can always like start off with like other people that were at that scene, and he could like at the mob riot on Black Friday or
For
whatever.
sure. Yeah.
Like he could,
Mhm.
they could like kill some just random people besides just like the main 4 that'll be there. Scuba and whatever their names were. I just remember Scuba. It's the only name I
Scuba,
remember.
Jagoff, Fuckface, and
Julia.
Mhm.
Dickhole. Yeah. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in, I mean, I know why they did it, to be ambiguous that he didn't die, or did he? But I was expecting something a little more than just like an explosion.
Very 90s explosion.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, they could have done something else, but setting it up for a sequel, hopefully. I mean, it's fun, so I'd go see the Thanksgiving 2. It's no Thanksgiving 3, but
Fuck Thanksgiving.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I still got 10 minutes left in that movie that I hadn't watched.
No,
Oh,
you're good.
Stopped
You're
watching
good.
after we did the other.
yeah,
You're so
Thanksgiving.
bad.
I never saw it, and then in lieu of this one, that was going to be a backup, and then I text Oubliette, and I'm
I
like,
love that fucking turkey so much. Like, I really love him. I wish he lived in my house.
I texted her
He's my
and,
spirit
and
animal.
Charlie. I'm like, the fuck am
Actually,
I watching?
that turkey might be my chihuahua.
Yeah, could be.
Jake Busey? Is it Jake
Yeah.
Busey? Dude, Thanksgiving. I lost years ago. We were doing a weekly like B horror movie every Tuesday at my buddy's house. This is like 10, 15 years ago. We were doing it every
What are
week.
you
for like
calling a B horror movie? Thanksgiving is a motherfucking classic.
Yeah,
Oh my
a
God.
C horror movie for classic C horror movie.
Yeah,
But
that's a stretch.
Thanksgiving got me banned from picking movies for like a month and a half. It was like 5
It's
weeks.
so
I wasn't
good.
allowed to pick a movie.
Oh, yeah.
It was rough.
What do you mean? For the budget they had, that movie is so good. They spent like $2,000. The movie's amazing. It's fucking amazing.
And
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you that much money, and I want to see you do something better because you won't. You won't.
Dude, I got in big trouble that month. I brought Thanksgiving, and then I came back strong with fucking Serbian film. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, you were going from
Ooh,
one extreme to the other.
Oh,
Yeah, I won't watch that one.
And this
I
is like
mean,
right when that movie
I tried.
first came out.
I
of
tried to
Serbian film.
start it and was like,
well, Thanksgiving.
I will die on the Thanksgiving mountain.
She will.
I think
Oubliette
now as a
is-
parent, I
Great.
won't be able
Sure.
to
Of
watch a
stuffing and
Serbian film.
gravy.
Yeah. It's now a tradition for me.
I mean, I've seen the fucking baby scene because every montage
Right.
of the worst the shit ever is the fucking like
It's not even. It's in the context of the movie. It's
Raping an
bad.
infant
When you
thing.
watch it just on its own, it's like pretty bad. But
Well,
in
no,
the context of
I've
the
read,
movie, it's
I've read the
fucked.
whole synopsis. What's funny is I haven't seen the movie, but I've actually read the entire synopsis scene by scene
Yeah.
because when I was younger, I was like, should I watch it or not? So you do when you look at the fucking
Yeah.
wiki, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch this shit.
As a parent, it's definitely rough now. I'm definitely not revisiting that movie. I've seen it 3 times. I'm good. 3 was enough.
Dude, I didn't think Salo would make me feel grossed out because I had seen it as a teenager and was like, no big deal, whatever, it's a movie. And then when we had to do it for this and I watched it again, I was like, oh, this hits differently at my age.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie again since I've had kids either. I don't think I will.
It's interesting.
And poor Charlie Price, who had never seen it. I was in New York at like a brewery anniversary, and my husband and I got in a hotel and we're like partying, drinking, like on our way to the hotel. And Charlie is like, oh, this just got really bad. And because I warned him, and I'm like, oh, what party you on? And they're like, oh, he's like, oh, the first dinner, and like some prostitutes telling a story. And I'm like, oh, Charlie.
Strap in,
Oh,
buddy.
Charlie. Nothing has gotten bad. Nothing has
Yeah.
gotten bad. And he's like, wait, really? And I'm like, I am so sorry, but I'm going to turn my phone on
Yeah.
silent and go to bed. And if you want to stop watching, go ahead, but
Good luck.
it's going to get
I
bad.
don't know if I told the story on the podcast or to you separately, but remember during the pandemic when everybody was like bringing back like drive-in movies or
Uh-huh.
like outdoor movies? The Bronx Zoo was doing a drive-in like double feature.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I met some girl or like at a coffee shop was telling me, we were just talking about like, it was like, this is like end of 2021 or early 2021. And they're like, oh, I just saw one at the Bronx Zoo, like right next to the Bronx Zoo. I'm like, oh, what did they show? And they're like, oh, they showed, and it was like, I don't know, like Halloween 3 and Sallow. And I was
Yeah.
like,
My phone was listening to me. I just
Ew.
opened Facebook.
Ew.
That's amazing.
Ew. On Facebook?
No, it's not. That's not amazing.
That's not
Whatever.
I
amazing.
just
You're on a watch
opened
list
it,
now.
and that was the
You're
first
definitely on a
thing that
list.
came up.
Well,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, but this girl was like, oh yeah, they showed like
For
Halloween
those of you
3, and then they showed
listening, my
Sallow.
phone just listened to me.
Ugh. I was like, they showed what movie? I asked her 3 times. She's like, Sallow, like 100 Days of whatever. And I was like, shut up. She's like, it was crazy. I'm like, they
Yeah.
showed that on an outdoor theater screen where people could walk by and see that
At the
happening.
zoo?
Yeah, out in the zoo
Yep.
parking lot.
Bunch
in
of
the
ass
Bronx.
raping.
I was like, what the fuck? She's like, it was gnarly. I'm like, just the idea of it's gnarly in the setting that you were in the Bronx watching that.
I mean,
like,
yeah,
the
that's
open-
probably more
and, like,
gnarly
outside.
than the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
unsuspecting
fuck.
kids like, what's that? What are they
Fuck. It
eating?
was great. I hope they do it again. I'm like, I don't think they'll be asked to be able to play any movies ever again
Yeah.
outside.
Oh my God. No, it's true. I just looked it up. And there's a whole big write out about art movie hell, watching Climax and Salo among the animals at the zoo. Worst night of my life.
See, I told you I was
awesome.
Climax, not Halloween 3. But Climax is a great
And-
movie.
And John Waters introduced it.
Checks.
Really?
Yeah. It was
That's
like
awesome.
a big fucking thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is, but at the same time, that's interesting that somebody
it's
okayed
interesting
that.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like some young barista being like, it was nuts. It's like I just going to see some horror movies. I did not expect that. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Charlie didn't expect it either. And he was just
No,
like,
and we
why am I
prepped
watching
him too
this?
and warned him. No,
He
it was
wasn't
like
up for
You
3
guys did that.
days.
You guys did that for the show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's our
gotta go
like
back
on
and listen.
YouTube. We've had so many fucking like people. Charlie barely says a word, and so after we watched it, I was texting him the next day like, "How are you?" And he's like, "I just don't want to talk to anyone." And I was
Ooh.
like, "Okay, well, are you all right?" And he's like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay." And then the next day, I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" And he's like, "Working." And I'm like, "All right, so like, have you talked to people?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to talk to people." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, maybe you should watch like You've Got Mail or like I don't know or Goonies or what makes you happy? And he
Milo
just
and
goes,
Otis?
like, no, and he just writes back like nothing, and I'm like, okay,
Oh, no.
something has to make you
Yeah.
happy.
The funny thing is, I own that movie. So
No, you don't.
I do.
Laserdisc?
no DVD. It's got a whole
Uh,
fucking director's
Yeah.
cut.
I mean, what am I going to, what am I saying
Yeah.
no to? I definitely have like a bootleg, like Chinatown Serbian film somewhere on DVD. So
Yeah.
I can't say no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
I mean,
Is there
I
any movie that's
I
made
had
you
all
feel
that
that
stuff
way?
too,
No.
and then I did like 25, got rid of them all, but whatever. Is there
Oops,
any
it's-
movie that makes me
yeah.
feel
Like that way.
like
that
I
fucked you up
don't
for a
want to
day or
talk
two.
to people and that life is over?
Thanksgiving.
When I saw it, Requiem for a Dream,
Oh, yeah, that's
sure.
that's definitely one.
Dancer in the Dark did the first time I saw it, which was the only time I saw it because I'll never watch it again because it's the most traumatizing movie you can ever watch. Did you ever watch that?
No, I never heard of
It's-
it.
It's Bjork,
Oh, right.
and I'm pretty sure it's one of Lars von Trier, whatever's first films. So
Yeah,
it's black and
that sounds
black and
familiar.
white. It's black and white, and it's Bjork, and she's a factory worker who's slowly losing her vision, and she finds out she's in poverty, and she finds out her only child has the same disease, and her child's going to lose that vision. And throughout the movie, she just sings Broadway songs because they
Oh.
make her happy.
Oh, no.
And let's just say it doesn't have a good ending,
yeah.
Rough.
and it's
What about
like
you, E?
bad
No.
news bears.
No. I've never really watched a movie that's made me just not like, I mean, there's probably been some we've done for this show that I've been like, why the fuck did I ever watch that?
But nothing like fucked you up for like a couple
No.
days?
I had an older
Damn.
brother.
Oh, I do have one that fucked me up bad that you
Yeah.
guys would never guess.
Which one's that?
The Land Before Time.
Patient.
So it was either. Well, go on, E. You tell.
No, I was just saying, I mean,
I gotta look at the year it came out
Yeah.
to tell you if it was high school.
I
or junior high.
I'm the youngest and my brother is 9 years older than me. So I've been getting traumatized
Oh,
and
jeez. Yeah.
seeing shit I shouldn't have been seeing like my entire life. So I'm
Desensitized.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like,
Ugh.
oh yeah, I mean,
Same.
I knew and was aware of Gigi Allen before I was like 10.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like,
That's
yeah,
not traumatizing. That's just like fucking weirdo. He
right.
made some good songs.
He did. But lots of blood, lots of piss, lots of shit, fighting, and
Sure.
I'm like,
It
yeah.
could be a little intense for a 10-year-old.
I'm like, life is weird. So I just go with it now. I mean, Cello, I was like, whoa, because I never saw it before since before my friend bought it for me for my birthday. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, cool. And I got it because she was like, have you ever seen this movie? And I was like, nope. She was like, dude, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday. I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, it's
What a
fucking
great
crazy.
friend.
Right. So I watched it and I was like, huh, all right, well, yeah, that's pretty weird, actually.
Yeah,
But
that was something.
yeah, by that time I was way into like, yeah, the world's run by fucking alien lizard people. And
Lizard people.
yeah, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's fucking uber rich, evil people shit. That's what they do. They're fucking sure.
Yeah.
Physically ill. The only movie to make me physically ill for like a day was probably Martyrs. Like,
See,
fucked
that
me
one
up.
did nothing for me.
Which one was that?
No, I mean, I liked it, but it didn't make me weird out. And of
The
course,
first
I made my
hour of that
husband
movie is
watch it, and he
terrible.
was just like, he's like, Courtney, we're not listening to your shit anymore. I'm like, it's fun.
What
But
one
those
was
French horror
Martyrs?
movies do that.
It's
It's
like
the
a French horror
sisters.
movie. Like, yeah, it's like very extreme.
It was the first one that like came out after like Irreversible, then High Tension, and then Martyrs was kind of like the third that everybody was
Okay,
like,
okay.
oh, it's
I'm
crazy.
vaguely remembering it. Yeah, I don't think
It's
I saw
super
it.
gory
It's very
and
gory.
fucked up.
It's just weird. It's just very weird and gory.
It's weird, yeah.
It's like got the weird
Mhm.
vibe that like Hellraiser first gives off, but like doesn't
Okay.
go into like an entertaining mode. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and dark.
Yeah, just dark and weird and just like, yeah. But the first hour sucks. It's boring as fucking hell. I remember we were watching it. It was during that like weekly movie watching thing. And everyone's like, this is so boring. I'm like falling asleep. And then out of nowhere, it just gets fucking weird and dark and crazy and kind of like
Awesome.
hostile-y and just like
Right.
weird shit
Mhm.
going on. And then
And
What
like
Dreams
Skin.
May Come. Yeah, Skinned. The skin thing was weird. What Dreams May Come.
I thought
with
that
Rob
part
Williams.
was cool. Yeah, that one's messed up.
That just fucked me up for days.
So there's one that I've wanted to do on the podcast, which is Brimstone, which I don't know if he has watched yet. And I keep telling him he needs to watch. I don't
feel like
know
I
how,
did.
like, maybe it's got Guy Pearce in it. And I had Chart add it to the
Right.
Plex. It's got Guy Pearce and Dakota Fanning and Kit Harington. And so you'd think everybody would know about it because big actors. And that
Right.
is the most fucked up movie I've ever seen in my life, hands down.
Brimstone?
Hands down. And it's a
Sounds
Western.
familiar.
Yes. It's on the so-and-so's Plex. You should watch it.
Charlene's.
And, yes. But that one fucked me up. But the one that no one would think of. When I was a sophomore in high school, actually, yeah, sophomore or junior in high school, we
Bambi.
had a substitute teacher. The substitute teacher came in and was like, this like history portion you guys are in, I looked at your teacher's notes. I'm not even going to try to touch it. So I rented this movie that's supposed to be about this time. And they put on a movie. We had blocks of classes that were 2 hours. So we watched 2 hours. You'd think it'd be the whole movie, it ended up being half the movie. So I was like, so I like on the way home, there's a Blockbuster by my house and it was R. So I called my parents and I'm like, hey, you gotta come over and like sign off or call them and tell them I can rent this movie
Right.
because we watched it in humanities and history today and I need to see the other part and we probably won't have a sub tomorrow and
Right.
I need to see
I got blue balled.
and finish
I need to see the movie.
and finish the story of William Wallace.
Right.
So I still remember I put this on not in our main living room, but a side living room that was attached to the kitchen. And like, I'm watching it and my mom and dad had already gotten divorced, but he came to like pick up the boys or do something. And he like sees what I'm watching. So he sits down and starts watching. And my mom's like watching it. And they're like, no, wait, just start over from the beginning. Like, we want to watch this. So I
What
start
movie?
Braveheart. Braveheart
Oh, Braveheart.
over from the beginning. And they're getting into it. Like they end up cooking dinner. And so the whole family watches this like 4-hour movie. I don't know why, but I got so emotionally invested into Braveheart that the movie ended. And I still remember I was like laying on a couch, like with my back facing my parents who were like on couches behind and to the side of me. And I was just like, I like looked to the right by the wall because I didn't want them to like talk to me or see me. And I was just like angrily thinking about like how wrong it was, how he died
Yeah.
and screaming freedom. Cause I fucking bought into this movie
Sure.
and also love Mel Gibson. And like at one point they're like, Court, like, are you gonna get up or the movie's over? Did you fall asleep? And I'm like, pure teenage, like hormonal rage, turn around and I'm like, no one talked to me. Like, and they were just like, and I have tears just streaming. And my dad, who is like very much like me and his sense of humor, just starts fucking like cracking up.
Right.
Even though he's a softie for this kind of stuff. And he was like, I was fucking sad, but like, this is the funniest shit ever. He's like, so you care about William Wallace? And I was like, that man, he was betrayed. Like, and I go through, he's like,
It's
yeah,
making my cheeks hurt.
I just watched it. And my mom is just like,
Oh,
no, and so my dad and I are talking about it. He's like, no, this is like a great fucking movie. He's like, but you're worked up, like chill out. Like
yeah.
you should read the whole story. Hollywood does things. And then this is the epiphany, like this is the epitome of like how bad my mom pisses me off and how dissimilar we are. Like she's just like, I mean, I don't even get it. Like
Oh,
the movie made no
of course.
no, she's like, this movie made no sense. It was really fucking boring and I slept through half of it. And like, I don't know what any of the hype is about. And was that even a real person? She's like, I'm just going to finish dinner. And I was like, oh, like, I hate you so much. So yeah, the biggest Courtney meltdown in history of any, or Oobzilla meltdown in history on a movie was Braveheart. And I watched that so much. Like, it was awful.
Fucking hilarious.
I was so vested, and I would like totally fast forward through the scene on VHS because it was VHS.
Yep.
When he was
Back in
being
the
like
day.
gutted and screaming freedom, and I would reference it like, yep, you just don't make him like William Wallace anymore.
Both your parents.
I'm looking
reactions
for
was
in a
complete
man.
opposite.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
I haven't watched the movie probably since that little phase I had, and I'm sure it's a fine movie. But yeah, that was mine.
All right then.
Changed my life for
Okay.
a while.
R.I.P. William Wallace.
And anyone who misses William the Bruce, I'm like, fuck that guy. Like,
Yeah.
fuck him. Do you know what he did to Mel
Get it
Gibson?
wrong.
Come on.
Oh shit. Well, okay. Well, that will.
On that note,
Yeah.
On that note.
Let's rate Thanksgiving. Mikey T, you're the guest. What are you giving it? Out of 5?
Out of candy corns.
Goblin
Oh,
gobbler candy corns, little gobbles.
this is tough. I don't want to go too high. I feel like I always go too high, and then you judge me. E. You judge me so strong, and Oops judged me too for how high I go on things. But I'm
Right
just a
with your
positive
heart,
person.
baby.
I'm going. I might be going too high for this one. I'm good with it though. I
For
had
the
fun.
year
Made me
or for the
happy.
movie, what am I rating? It just says as a movie
As a movie.
on its own, not
Yep.
compared to the rest of the year of nothingness.
Yeah.
Not compared to the rest of any movies ever. Just how did it make you feel? Was it a good horror movie?
3.8.
Don't compare it to
candy
Braveheart because
corns.
obviously you'd have to give it like negative candy corns.
3.8.
3.8. Okay.
Yeah, 3.8 candy corns.
All right.
Maybe 3.7. 3.7.
Okay.
Not 7.5.
Good.
7. It
7,
doesn't
okay.
deserve that extra 5.
All right. I'm good with that. What about you, Oubliette?
I'm gonna give my husband's rating first because I asked him to go ahead and provide it because it's the first movie he hasn't been aggravated with me about after watching. The titles rolled and he said, "That was way better than I thought." And I said, "Is but how much better? And he said, if it came on TV, I wouldn't change the channel and would watch it again. Which
Okay.
for my husband, that's like a fucking,
Yeah.
that's big.
Yep.
That's big. I'm giving it a 4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the kind of warts in it were intentional. And I
For
think
sure.
going into kind of, you know, even the warehouse thing, everything else, like I don't think that the office in the warehouse needs to really make sense. Just like how people complain about some of the character development. Like I feel like they did a better job with character development than they really had to.
Here's the thing that goes
movie
with your point.
Go
It
ahead.
goes with your point
Mm-hmm.
totally. The fact that they cut those things out and didn't develop the characters or that warehouse made the movie a nice runtime, and we still understood
yeah.
what was going
Oh
on.
yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Totally. And even I think some of that's mismatched in some of those movies. It makes it more funny because you're literally like in a warehouse and you're in a police station type office or whatever. And you're like, what the fuck? And everyone's acting like it's normal. Like that can come to some comedic value, I think. But look, I haven't had this much fun with a movie in a long time. I haven't gasped and been like, ugh, about gore and kind of like overdoing it, but still keeping it not like in an icky gore way. You know, like Terrifier did, but there's like some real seriously like fucking ick with that gore. This, even though some of it was gratuitous, it was still in so much fun that it kept up momentum. And that being said, this movie had great momentum. There weren't very many parts where you were just like looking at your watch, like, okay, like how much longer are we going? Like the pacing was good. There was very little lag, a little bit in the middle, but every fucking movie seems to have that. I thought the acting for what it was good. Even the kids, like they weren't shitty actors. Like they were just playing like plastic.
They were very believable as
you
kids.
know,
Yeah.
Shitty characters. But yeah, they were believable as kids we'd run into or, you know, would be our employees, things like that right now. So yeah. I liked it. It was a lot of fun and it brought back something we were kind of waiting for. Most of the previews from the Grindhouse movies were better than the Grindhouse movie. And like with things like Machete coming out, I thought it was great that Eli finally did Thanksgiving. And like I said, going into the holidays, you're stressed out and whatever else. This was a great, like, I don't have to think about the movie and just have fun. And it was super, super silly in the best way possible.
Awesome. That's awesome. Your husband's right too. Like I would not turn it off if it came on TV. I don't really rewatch a lot of things because there's always something new to watch. I would totally rewatch this every Thanksgiving. Like totally.
Oh, same. Yeah. It's super fun.
Well, now the Debbie Downer part of the podcast.
Always.
The
voice of
Sad
treason.
Sally.
Yeah. Well, I agree with both of you, actually. Super fun movie. I don't get the hate.
But what does fun mean in a score? I don't know. A 2.5?
Around
How much
there.
is fun worth in the horror field?
Around there. For me, the slasher genre in general, if it's not having to do with like some supernatural element with it, isn't my most favorite thing. But the issues that we did mention weren't like a huge annoyance for me. It was a campy movie and I was just like, yeah, this is how it's going to go.
Who's to say that John Carver's ghost was not inside Patrick Dempsey?
Oh, there you go. That could work, which I'd be down for. I'd be down for. All that being said, for me,
Explain why he survived the explosion.
There you go. I like that. I like where this is going.
We're going to make a movie for you to give it a better score. You're like, you didn't catch the little John Carver like soul whipping around at the end and like
it was in the smoke.
jumping in another body.
11 towers.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a 2.5 turkey, little evil turkey, John Carver fucking candy corns. Not because I didn't like it. I thought it was fun. Like it wasn't a movie that I was upset that I watched or went to see or actually paid money to go to the theater to see. I thought it was fun. I thought the kills were great. I thought they were entertaining. I think Tim Dillon, the security guard, was hilarious in it. It had Gina Gershon, so I'm all about that. And it, like you guys said, it moved well. It wasn't too long. Super fun.
I'm waiting
Good
for where the other
doors.
2.5 are.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the reason why you gave
Yeah,
it 2.5.
Well, because this is a movie I probably wouldn't watch again.
Fair. Okay.
You know,
Fine.
there's not a lot of replay value. Like, it was fun to see it the first time, but I'm like, okay, I'm done with it, and I wouldn't buy it. So usually to get over like a 2.5 to get into the threes, it's got to be
Something
something
you want to own.
I want to own, and I'm just like, will I go see the sequel? Sure, because if it's just as fun as this one, yeah, why not? It'll be a good time. But yeah, that's for
You don't have to explain your score to me, but I wanted to be explained why, because it sounded like you liked it a lot. So I was like, there's got to be a reason why.
No,
And
he does.
you do have to explain it. We always explain why we score.
Ooh,
the
that's
way we
like, yes,
score.
explain.
Well, no, Mike, you know what's the best thing about this is that you and I will never have to try to date E because it must be the most fucking confusing thing in the world. You go on a date and you're like, dude, this guy is so to one of his friends that you're friends with, and they're like, no, he said you were like, I mean, if he saw you out somewhere, he might just like say what's up. And
Oh,
you're like,
she
"God
cooked me
damn
the
it."
most amazing Thanksgiving dinner I've
Yeah.
ever had. And we had such
Uh-huh.
great conversation. We laughed. The stuffing was
Mhm.
perfect. She even made my favorite side. But, I
Yeah,
wouldn't eat it again.
Her eyebrows
2.5.
yeah, eyebrows. Yeah, it's big. But no, I mean, basketball is fun, but I'm not gonna go out of my way
I
to
like
play
that
it.
you have standards. I'm way
man.
too positive. Like, what do you mean there's a police station in there? Forget it.
Yeah,
3.7.
But with all of that being
Hence
said,
why we are married.
yeah,
He's a
I'm a
very,
rebel,
very,
Dottie.
very
A loner.
happy bachelor.
Oh, I love it.
But that averages out to a 3.4 candy corns, which is really good
Yeah,
I think it's
it
fair.
is.
for this,
Yeah.
and
good
I
and
think
fair,
people should
yeah.
see it. Again, like I said, I don't understand how people would like absolutely hate it. I'm like,
I
it's
haven't
fun.
heard anyone say it was
No.
bad.
I've seen a
The
handful of
only
people.
way you can hate on
Oh, yeah.
this is if you were taking your kids to go see like Trolls and walked into this movie and had a bunch of toddlers like screaming and crying, traumatized. Then you can be like, "Fuck Thanksgiving."
Well, yeah, I
Other
was
than
just
that,
confused. I'm like,
why?
how, what kind of movie did you think you were gonna go see? Like, who Eli Roth
Witch?
is. Yeah, what kind of movies he does. You know that
Talk
this
to
was
me.
supposed to be like a campy
Midsummer?
slasher fucking movie. I said,
I
well,
mean,
what?
the trailer kind of spelled it right out. Like,
Right.
I saw the
Totally.
trailer and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going in. It could suck. It could be fun. It could be bad. It'll be something entertaining. I feel like.
Right. Well,
I feel.
a lot of the grievances were things we discussed where they're like, oh, the character development was
Yeah.
was terrible in that way. I'm like, well, what the fuck movie did you think you were gonna go see, dude? Like,
Well, maybe people were expecting like something a little bit more
serious,
screamy,
or
I know
maybe
you did
gritty,
last
like
time. Or
the
even
fake
like,
trailer.
right?
oh, that's true.
Maybe
Yeah.
they were expecting that.
Maybe.
I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about it. To me, I haven't looked
Right.
at the discourse online or anything, but
I don't have any friends who have said it, but online, there's definitely some people who are like, that was a pile of shit. And everything they complain about, I'm like, okay, so you watched the
I'm
wrong
just
movie.
like, yeah, like
I
definitely-
laughed so hard in the beginning of this movie.
Oh, for
Same.
sure. Yeah.
I was fucking dying.
Well, but yeah, I don't know. I think we all agree people should see it, and it was a fun, if not for anything else, movie that you're not going to hate, or you shouldn't hate anyway.
Yeah.
If you do, you're stupid.
And now we got a Thanksgiving movie. There ain't too many Thanksgiving movies out there.
There's not. There's a handful of them, and a lot of them aren't.
Not even
Good.
horror related. I just mean like in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a lot, and they aren't great.
Yeah.
The opening scene to Santa's sleigh with
Yeah.
Fran Drescher when she dies. That's a great Thanksgiving scene, but not a
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. Thanks for fucking coming on again, Mikey T.
Always happy to swing on back around.
Yeah. Anytime.
Thank you,
and
sir.
I don't know. That's it for
What's
us. here.
coming up?
Well, I
Anything
don't
coming
know.
up?
Got Christmas time, so it'll probably be
Got
some
any horror
Christmas
movie coming
movies.
up?
Oh, well, we'll probably be doing Godzilla minus
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, duh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
comes out
coming
this
up.
weekend.
and
That's this
there's-
weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm stoked for that
There's a couple
A24
other
wrestling movie.
ones.
That's not horror related, but
Right.
it looks good. The
There's
Von
something
Erichs
else.
movie.
There's something
Iron
else
Claw.
that was supposed to come up.
Is there an
that I'm
Emma
blanking
Stone
on right
movie that's supposed to be a horror movie coming out?
Oh, no. I remember what I'm talking about. There's a movie called It's a Wonderful Knife coming out. And I just thought it was like some bullshit, whatever
Right.
joke on It's a Wonderful Life and like a B movie. But I didn't realize till today when I was looking for horror news, it's fucking Joel McHale, who I love,
He's
and
funny.
a whole bunch of other actors, and then Justin Long. So you know who's gonna die or turn into something
Right.
or start sucking on the teat of
I got
somebody.
some bad news.
Uh-oh.
It sucked.
What?
It's a Wonderful Knife sucked.
You saw it?
I didn't see it, but I have two friends who I value their horror opinions on it, and
I
they both said
I
it
don't
sucked.
Fuck about your friends.
One of them
it
said it was
depends
the
on who
worst
they are.
movie
I
he
might-
saw this year.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, and he watches and goes to a lot of movies, and he's a big horror
But
fan.
I mean, the slogan was every time a bell rings, an angel gets to kill. That's so witty.
Yeah,
Well,
I heard it
we'll
was
see.
terrible.
I'm kidding. It's well, that's okay. Great. Well, I had no intention of seeing it, and then when I saw Joe McHale, I got excited because he's a babe and funny.
I do like Justin Long. I didn't know he was in it though.
Um,
That might sell me on it.
It's a
Yeah.
a
Lord
holiday
of Misrule
movie,
comes out
so
next week.
Christmas
That's
movie.
another
Yeah.
one.
Which movie?
Lord of Misrule. It's a folklore horror that actually looks kind of cool.
Hmm.
Then Godzilla -1 the next day. And there was, I think that's it.
Yeah. Godzilla -1 is my big one. I'm like,
But,
all
so
right.
I won't go
'Cause that
see
looked really
It's
good.
a Wonderful Knife, which I love plays on words, but It's a Wonderful Knife just rubbed me the wrong way. So it's okay that it sucks.
I bet you they started with the title and went from there.
Probably. Probably. It was probably two dudes smoking pot that was like, dude,
Let's make
we
a
should
movie.
direct a horror movie.
Which can go either way.
And
He
we
can
should
either,
call it It's a Wonderful Knife. And do you remember when that girl Joel McHale was banging OD'd? We like helped get her to the hospital. He will totally be in this movie.
yeah.
I'll call him.
He
owes
owes
us one.
us. He owes us one.
And when we
Oh.
caught Justin Long making out with his sister, we got
Dude,
this.
we got it. They'll do it. They'll totally do it.
There are movies I see that I'm like, huh. And you find out they're all friends with the actors, and you're like, yep, these guys had something on all of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because they were friends. We did this. Like, there's a couple Seth Rogen ones that are definitely James
Yeah.
Franco movies that I'm like, oh, he just had something on all these people.
We know how this got made
I think everybody has something on James Franco.
at this point. Yeah.
Hello, Mr.
Oh.
Fancy
Oh,
Pants.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Monster Candy Podcast, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Candy?
Little fucks.
so rude.
You remember dance with the dim light of pale moonlight. We don't have to be mean.
Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Your move.
What music they make.